Hey, how you
Hello.
doing?
Good. Good.
I was running late, kind of.
It's okay.
No,
It's
all good.
Friday.
I was all disheveled,
disheveled.
working in the office and felt my face, and I was just like, what?
You're like, ow, my face.
All this overgrowth. I looked like, the homeless guy in like the original Terminator when Kyle
that
Reese
is
shows
a
up.
really specific
The guy, hey buddy, did you see that really bright light? I look like that, the homeless guy.
Always a good look.
Son of a bitch took my pants. That happened. Kyle Reese stealing pants from. You're from the future, man. Anyway, how you doing anyway?
Anyway, welcome to the waiting room, the podcast where we talk about whatever we want.
Stuff, Japanese stuff, lots of stuff.
Lots of stuff. And today we are going to talk about the news. And I wondered if you would indulge me because there's something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to sort of fulfill my fantasy of being a Japanese newscaster. So you just indulge me for 2 seconds while I introduce the news.
Wait, do we need to start with a konbanwa?
Just indulge me.
Okay, you
Okay.
know.
Ready? Japanese newscaster. こんばんは。ニュースをお伝えします. That's what I wanted to do. Which is just like, good evening, here's the news.
Works for me, man. We got all official then.
I really wanted to do it because you see it on TV all the time. And I just have an obsession with like Japanese announcers are so good at what they do.
I remember meeting one. I forget his name. Not Mori-san. I forget which channel it's from. So he sometimes goes to the same bar as I go to.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to him.
Which bar would that be?
Koba.
Koba.
Because a lot of tourists would know that one.
Shout out to Koba.
Yep. Shout out to Bomb. Yeah, so he was there and having a drink with him. And that whole thing of the whole, konbanwa, start. I told him, I go, every time I see that, I reply.
Just so you know, you're not speaking into the void.
When you look in that camera, you're getting a reply.
Just know
and
that
he's like,
I'm out there.
That is the first time I've ever heard that. So,
I reply too.
yeah. I can't help it anymore. Yeah.
I have to. They're like, こんばんは. And I'm like, こんばんは.
Yeah. Not that I see the news any day. Like these days, it's like, 2.5-year-old. So it's just YouTube kids.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Like I said, I don't have a TV anymore.
Fair enough.
Got a phone.
But today we're talking about the news in Japan that we have found interesting.
Yep.
So we're just gonna go through a few interesting, maybe sort of only in Japan, sort of quirky news, interesting news, and some local news as well. So today we're talking about the news. Now, before we start, I want to tell everyone to be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell notifications so you are always on top of our new episodes. You can send us a comment. You can send us a DM.
Yep.
The Waiting Room, jpn@gmail.com.
Yep. Or Instagram at The Waiting Room, JPN. I was going to say .com, but it's Instagram. But also, just a reminder, we're sponsored by AM Laser Made.
Thanks to AM Laser Made for sponsoring today's episode of The Waiting Room.
All your laser cut needs, and also black market trader for Betamax tapes on the dark web.
I would love a Betamax tape, but I need a Betamax player.
Oh, don't worry, man. It's coming back.
I'm kind of fascinated by the idea of it's such a cool name, too. Way better than VHS.
Apparently, they were better than VHS, but VHS won out.
Wonder why that is.
I don't know.
We'll have to do a deep dive into the Betamax conspiracy. But anyway.
What happened? What's the news?
The news. I believe...
What's the good word?
I believe our top story tonight...
Do you steal coffee?
No.
Okay.
I pay for my coffee because I want to support local businesses. Ding! Yeah.
Well, someone does pay for coffee, but not for all of it. So...
Not for all of it?
No. So, we had a Japanese principal who likes to frequent the konbini, or the convenience stores.
Oh, they have good coffee at the convenience stores. I'm a coffee snob, and even I admit 7-Eleven's coffee is really good.
It's pretty good, yeah.
7-Eleven, if you want to sponsor us, hey.
So it doesn't say which convenience store, but so he likes to
it's probably 7-Eleven.
Pay for his medium cups of coffee, walk over to the machine and press large.
It's like, when you have, if you go to a restaurant where they have like a soda fountain and you have like, oh, I'm just going to get water. And then you put soda in your water cup.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he got caught with the convenience store worker.
Red-handed. Convenience store clerk was like, excuse me, sir.
Yeah. What are you doing? You paid for a medium. You're filling up on the large. And
Then, do you think that like they caught him on the first go?
obviously not. He did come out and say that, oh, I've done it a few times before.
Why would he admit to that?
Well, here's the thing. So he didn't get charged or anything for it, but it kind of was like it's kind of theft. And he's a principal.
Not
and
kind of theft, outright theft.
That much coffee. But he lost his job. It went to the whole school board.
All for one of like a tiny bit of coffee?
Yep. Lost his job and his retirement money, which comes to about, we got here, 20 million yen, which is roughly 135,000 US.
Wow. For literally this much coffee, guys, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, you could buy... Okay, look, convenience store coffee is cheap. Like what, 100 yen?
Yeah,
So
it's not that much.
It's not expensive. So like, if you're going to steal something, shouldn't you at least steal something expensive?
So it's like he wasn't stealing a whole coffee, right?
Yeah.
He was just
Stealing
that
a
bit
fourth
between
of a
medium and
coffee.
large. And that cost him his job.
Damn.
So the board were kind of like, well, we understand, but you're a principal. You're not just a teacher as well.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be setting an example.
You're like the moral example of the school.
Mm.
Tarnished for life for want of coffee.
And I'm thinking a principal gets a decent wage.
Probably more than the teachers are making.
Exactly. Like he can afford that little bit between medium and large.
I'm thinking maybe it was for like the thrill.
Maybe.
Like,
some people like
ooh,
that. There's a word
it's
for
like
that?
like shoplifting. Shoplifters, a lot of them, if they're not doing it out of need, it's because they want a little
Ooh.
thrill. Like, ooh, I'm stealing.
Yeah, some bit of 5-finger discount.
Yeah, but like for like a tiny bit of coffee,
Yeah.
like maybe like 50 cc's of coffee. Like, come on, man.
Right.
Couldn't you have stolen something else? Something cooler? If you're going to steal something and be
Like
made an
iced
example
coffee?
of.
Oh, not literally cooler. Okay.
Oh my God. No, like steal like a Lamborghini or something. Like at least give the kids something to aspire to with thievery.
Yeah, it's like, did you hear about the principal?
That's like the most pettiest of petty thieves.
That's pretty petty. So he did come out and say like he's done it a few times before at a few different convenience stores. So
Gosh.
nice to know he was kind of spreading it out a bit. But
and he still got caught.
Yep. 59-year-old principal.
Oh, 59. He was so close to retiring. Most people retire at 60.
So
he could have just held on and not stolen for a little bit. He would have been home free.
Yep. So
This is what happens when you get greedy, people. Don't do it.
Coffee. Coffee's good.
Coffee is good, but pay for it.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow.
Wow.
So yeah, no names. We've got his age here.
They didn't name him?
No.
They did not name and shame him.
Mm.
If you know where this junior high school principal in Kobe is, if you know who he is, please comment. Please let us know. We got to name and shame this guy.
Yeah, stop doing it. It's my coffee, man.
For like a tiny bit of coffee. Have you ever done a crime? Have you ever stolen, shoplifted?
I don't think I've shoplifted before.
I'm pretty sure like the statute of limitations is up if you have. So you haven't
I'm sure
shoplifted,
I
but
know.
what have you done something?
I'm thinking, yeah.
What other crimes have you committed?
There's no bodies or anything like that, but oh, I have actually stolen
Why are you so happy about it?
because I was pretty proud about it. So
See, do you see what happens when you
it was
steal?
the thrill.
This is the same as him.
So
All right,
when I
what
was,
did you do?
I'll tell you what I did. When I was on holiday in Croatia, my parents' town of Zadar, beautiful seaside city.
You can never go back there now.
Shit now. Because everybody's watching this. Near, I think it was like a club or kind of like a sailing club, there was a big flag of the city.
Oh.
So the flag kind of has a cool, like,
'Cause it's near the ocean
a
as
saint
well.
with like a whole jousting stick as well. That's cool.
Very cool. Oh, no.
And I was like, I want that because you couldn't buy them then. Don't know where that
This
came
is probably
from.
like a massive flag, right?
It was like a
Like
decent,
up a flagpole
we're
kind of
talking
flag?
like,
Yeah.
So it was just like nighttime. I think I was like leaving the next day or two and had a blade with me and just went, hit the rope and
Stole the flag. Where's that
Yeah.
flag now?
I think my brother's actually got it. It got spread around, used at weddings. So one of the Croatian things when you come to the reception, you always have flag bearers that come in.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was used a few times, especially amongst relatives who are from that town. So it was just like, this is the flag from Zadar. And it's like, yeah.
I love the fact that there's flag bearers at a wedding. That is so fierce.
So usually in in Croatia, they usually have maybe two. I always remember seeing like there's like a flag for the church and then a flag for Croatia. And then usually in Australia, people will have the Australian flag, the Croatian flag, and then whoever was using that one, then okay, we'll have a third person.
Third
so
flag.
why not?
Well, I have a similar story. This wasn't me. I'm going to spill my dad's tea all over the internet. But
Ooh.
so similar story that involved flags.
Yeah.
In not your hometown. But we used to go to North Carolina every summer because there's a nice beach there. Nags Head and Corolla and all that. So we'd go to the Outer Banks. And we would generally go with another family. We'd rent out a house for like, a week or whatever.
Yeah.
And so we would always go with this other family, the Groves. And one night, all the kids were at home and the parents were like out to dinner, right?
Yeah.
And the parents came back very drunk. Like, I'm not really sure how they drove home kind of drunk.
Yeah.
Probably, I think my mom might have been either the designated driver or she wasn't drinking that much. This was kind of back in the 90s, right? So they come home pretty drunk and they have with them a giant flag.
It's all about the flags, right?
They got drunk and they stole a flag and they still have it. And the last time I went back home, I stayed at the Grove's house for a little bit because my dad was there as well. And I was like, do you remember when you guys stole that flag? And Mr. Grove goes, hold on a sec. He goes in his basement and he still has the flag. So I don't know what it is with men and stealing flags, but I feel like maybe it's from your colonial past, perhaps, when you decided let's colonize everyone and have a flag.
That's it. Conquering.
Yeah, conquering, perhaps. So yeah, stolen flags.
That was your dad, huh?
Yeah, my dad stole a flag. I'm
Good
pretty
job,
sure.
Dad.
Yes, statute of limitations probably applies, but it is one of my favorite stories from that time.
I mean, your dad might have to start a club.
The Flag Stealers Club.
Yeah. Sounds good.
But then, yeah, it's just I thought it was funny that your story was about a flag.
Not stealing coffee. Anyway, moving on from stealing and theft and Betamax tapes.
So our next story tonight. Ukrainian beauty queen steals competition in Japan and causes controversy. Now, this is a little bit of old news. This article, I have an article from the BBC that was published on January 24th. So let's get into it because this caused a lot of commotion in more ways than one.
Yes.
This is huge national news and also pretty big international news as well. So there was a beauty queen contest for Miss Japan.
Yep.
Now, Miss Japan it's a pretty long-running beauty pageant. And the winner of this year's Miss Japan, her name is Carolina Shino. Now, Carolina, as pretty much I'm sure you know, is not a Japanese name.
So she was born in Ukraine, right?
Yes, 26-year-old model born in Ukraine to two Ukrainian parents, and she moved to Japan at the age of 5.
Yep.
So her parents had divorced, and her mom married a Japanese man, which is where she got her last name Shino from. So she has lived in Japan for 21 years, more than I've lived in Japan.
Quite a while.
Quite a long time, right?
More than me.
So she was naturalized as a Japanese citizen, and then she ended up winning this beauty contest. And of course, obviously, she's born to two Ukrainian parents, so she looks Ukrainian.
Yeah.
Or she looks not Japanese, not stereotypically Japanese.
Well, just Western features, right?
Yeah. Beautiful. Super beautiful.
Oh, definitely.
She was a model as well. And she was so very emotionally moved at her victory because to her, she said, there have been this is from the article, there have been racial barriers and it has been challenging to be accepted as Japanese. And she felt like by winning, she's sort of truly been accepted as Japanese. Now, her Japanese is perfect because, she's been living in Japan her whole life. And also the way that she does her makeup looks very Japanese to me.
Oh, okay. Well, she's grown up here, so...
Right?
Yeah.
So, like, when I look at her and I look at her makeup, I'm like, it seems... Like she almost looks a little bit Japanese because of the way she does her makeup.
Right. Yeah.
I don't mean Japanese in like an ethnic way. I mean like in a sort of modern beauty way, right? So she's the first Miss Japan winner who wasn't ethnically Japanese.
Yeah.
Which there was a really big uproar when somebody who was half Japanese won. So there was an even bigger uproar about, but she's not like stereotypically like Japanese beauty. Like, how could they have allowed this to happen? And it sort of sparked this debate on what does it mean to be Japanese?
Right.
Like, do you do you have to be ethnically Japanese to be considered Japanese? Or if you're naturalized, does that automatically mean you're Japanese? Or if you are, let's say, half Japanese, does that make you Japanese? Like, it really sparked this sort of debate online, especially on Twitter, where you have like the right wing net bros who were like, we can't accept this. Like, how could the judges have even thought that she could ever win? And and then you have the other side of the debate. Someone threw a
cabbage.
Rotten tomatoes.
Yep.
And then you have the other side of the debate where it's like, well, this is actually really encouraging that Japan is sort of, moving forward a little bit in accepting multicultural and diverse Japanese people who don't look ethnically Japanese.
Right. And it is a big thing because I think we're non-Japanese people I think we're only about, 2%?
It's not a lot.
It's something like that, I think. So it's quite a homogenous society. So
very homogenous society. But, it got me thinking, okay, well, I've lived in Japan for what will be 17 years this year, this March. And, I speak it, I read it, I write it. Most of my friends are Japanese.
It's a lot better than me, I'll tell you that. Anyway.
But like, if I were to naturalize, would that make me Japanese in the eyes of the public? Yes or no? And it's like, well, probably not.
Yeah, you're right.
And it's like, well, what if you put this on the flip side? What if, for example, let's say there's a beauty pageant in the United States and the winner was, let's say, someone from like the Latin American community who had, like her, come to America when she was 5, had lived there for 21 years.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody would bat an eye at her winning.
Oh,
Miss USA
you're
pageant.
talking like USA, I'd say the UK and Australia. It's a very multicultural society.
And so it's like, is it just the fact that Japan isn't a multicultural society and that's the issue? I mean, you could say the same for Korea, for China, for these places where you have the very stereotypic ethnically Asian look. And if you're not, like, it's weird. But then on the flip side, when it comes to sports, the Olympics, if you have
I know what you're getting now.
if you have like an athlete from another country that wants to like participate on behalf of Japan and they naturalize, people are so happy. They're like, look, we got this great athlete who's gonna represent our country, and I'm like, okay, it's okay for sports, but it's not okay for beauty.
It's gonna be like, bring us those medals. That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah,
because like rugby players and that, and
it's crazy, right? But here's the thing: this isn't where the controversy ends.
Gets spicy.
So it turns out that the beautiful, lovely Miss Carolina was having an affair. This is also covered by the BBC. This happened on February 6th. So within a week of this like victory.
Yep.
Miss Carolina, the Ukrainian-born winner of the Miss Japan beauty pageant, has given up her crown after a tabloid report revealed her affair with a married man. Now, according to reports, the first time that they found out about this and broke the news, she denied knowing that he was married. She said, he didn't tell me he was married. And the beauty pageant sponsors...
Maybe he forgot.
I mean, it's very easy to forget when you're married with kids. So the beauty pageant sponsors were fully behind her. They're like, look, she said she didn't know. She didn't know.
Yep.
And then she kind of backtracked and was like, well, I kind of did know.
I kind of did. How did they find out?
I mean, I don't know how tabloid reporters find anything out, but they are really, really good. So there's this...
Because you can't Google that.
Or there's like this tabloid magazine called Shunkan Bunshin, which their reporters, I don't know how they find out everything.
Yeah.
It's scary. So Miss Shino had engaged in a relationship with a married influencer and doctor. The man has not provided any public comment. Can we just say that's pretty messed up that she's getting all the blame and the man gets off scot-free? Fuck that.
Yeah, but he forgot.
Fuck that noise. So she confessed to knowing about the man's marriage and family. She apologized for misleading, and organizers accepted her title resignation. So she resigned.
Yeah, that's right.
I think that probably makes her the most Japanese. Because as we all know, Japan's like high-profile actors, singers, comedians, all of them are generally brought down by a scandal. And the best comment that I read about this whole thing was on Twitter, and they said, "Oh, so she resigned because of a scandal. I guess she really is Japanese."
Give her back the crown.
Yeah, give her it back. That's the most Japanese thing you can do.
Get more
You win the
naturalized than that.
pageant,
Yeah.
first you lie, then you backtrack, and then you resign.
Mhm.
That's probably the most Japanese thing she could have done. So you know
Works
what,
for me.
Miss Carolina, I salute you. I salute you, girl.
And I also heard that well, as she resigned, you'd think like it'll go maybe to the next person, but they decided
No, they decided no one this year.
There is no beauty queen.
Nope. They should get rid of beauty pageants because I think there's. Anyway, that's a whole new topic.
Well, I'm not running for any beauty pageants soon. I'll try.
But you would win so easily.
You know it.
Evening gown category? Come on. I think it would be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah,
I got the moves.
It sparked this really. What would be your talent in the beauty competition?
Oh, name them.
What would you do? Seriously, what would you do? If you had to do a talent portion.
Air instruments.
Air guitar.
Not air guitar.
You can play instruments though.
All the instruments. It's like, that guy doesn't just play air guitar. He's playing all the instruments.
He's like an
Even
air
ones
orchestra.
that aren't invented. Yeah, I would start off as a conductor, but and then move on to the instruments. That's pretty good.
The one-man orchestra.
Yeah. One-man band.
Yeah.
Air style.
The one-man air band. Just like modern dance,
Yeah.
essentially.
Pretty much.
So it really sparked this interesting debate about what it means to be Japanese. And especially because your background, right? Your parents are Croatian, so you are ethnically Croatian.
Yeah.
But were you born in Australia?
I was born in Australia.
Okay,
yeah.
so born and raised in Australia.
But if I went to Ancestry.com and spat in a test tube and sent it off to them,
It would say Croatia.
pretty much.
So it's like, when you think about your identity, do you think of yourself as Australian or as Croatian?
It's always been a hard one for me because, even growing up in Australia, we're always there's a big Croatian community as well. In the household, we spoke Croatian. With my brother and sister, we more so spoke English, but pretty much spoke Croatian in the house. Yeah, exactly. However, if we were outside and didn't want people to listen, we'd start speaking Croatian.
Of course.
So yeah, it was kind of hard. And then it's like when you go to Croatia as, a Croatian born in Australia, and people are like, you're Australian. And then you'll be in Australia and people look at your name and it's like, well, you're not really Australian.
It's like you're not Australian enough for the Australians and not Croatian enough for the Croatians.
And strangely enough, when I went to high school, I would sometimes cop crap for looking Australian.
Which is weird.
Well, yeah, most of the people I went to school with would be majority probably Chinese, Vietnamese, Lebanese. So I was a minority.
So you were the odd man out.
Right. And it's like, but we're in Australia.
But why would they give you flack for that? Shouldn't they understand what it's like to be an outsider?
Oh, no. Not in those areas, man.
Oh, no.
Yeah, man. These are the hot spots. If anybody in Australia knows, Bankstown, Lakemba, Punch Bowl.
Punch Bowl?
Yeah. Sounds a lot happier than the place.
A Punch Bowl?
Yeah.
What a great name.
It's not a nice place.
That makes me sad.
Yeah. These are the mean streets, people. Probably meaner now. Yeah.
I mean, that's why when I think about it, I mean, my mom was born of two Latvian immigrants who immigrated to the U.S. and my mom was one. So my mom's ethnically Latvian.
Yeah.
But she doesn't speak.
Ah, okay.
She didn't speak any of it and never taught me any of it. And then my dad's side comes over, I believe, originally from Russia, but went over to England and it's like a long migration over to the States. So who knows?
Yeah.
Essentially. But I do when I'm in Japan and people and I meet people, they always go, well, where are you from? And my favorite game to play, especially with drunk people, is guess where I'm from. And immediately people look at me, blue eyes, and most people say Russia first.
In Japan, I'm not surprised. It's quite a community.
Most people say Russia or Sweden, which is weird because my hair is not platinum blonde. And it's only after a few that they might guess America, but it's never their first guess.
Okay.
Which I don't know why that is, but my face is quite, I believe, Eastern European-ish. Ish.
Yeah, I can see it. I get American, here when people ask, so what are you, American? I'm like, no, I'm not.
No, thank you. Please don't associate me with those.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
I've been to Alaska, though. That doesn't make me American.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Why did you go to Alaska?
Snowboarding. And I always kind of
Oh
wanted to
my
go there.
God. How long does it take to get to Alaska from Australia,
It's
though?
a long walk.
That's a long haul.
No, it was a long flight from Sydney to Tokyo, then Tokyo into the States.
Oh,
because it was a
you go
cheaper
over
flight
the...
to, like,
Yeah.
the difference in prices was like, yeah, I don't mind spending a night in Tokyo.
So
and
8
then going-
hours to Tokyo.
Yep. And then, because then it was like getting to America, and I forget where we landed, but we did another how many hops.
I was going to say, you got to hop from there.
Yeah, I think we were in like, was it possibly LAX and then Seattle and then into
That
Alaska?
sounds about
Sound
right.
right?
Yeah.
Direction-wise?
Yeah. Wow.
It's cold up there.
Yeah.
I tell people that, and people are like, yeah, you haven't been to America. Like, fair enough then.
But you have.
Yeah, I know.
So anyway, my main takeaway from this beauty pageant thing is, I feel like it's impossible to like narrow down a nationality based on how somebody looks.
Yeah.
I believe, nationalities. I'm not in the ᴏᴜᴏ way of I feel Japanese, therefore I'm Japanese. Did you hear about all that nonsense? It was a while back, but she's like, I'm like Japanese at heart.
Okay.
Which I don't really agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you've lived in a foreign country that's not your own for quite a while, you've mastered the language, the customs, the cultures. I think that makes...
If you put yourself into the society, you kind of
doesn't
adapt.
that and you contribute to the society? Isn't that what it means to be a citizen of that place?
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, it was interesting because she is fully nationalized, so that does make her like Japanese.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she naturalized.
So she's not American then? Like, what's the go with the citizenship?
She's not Ukrainian anymore.
Hang on. Oh, we're talking about the beauty queen, not...
Yeah, the beauty queen.
I'm still in Ģeʏ Stefani.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Ģeʏ Stefani.
She's
just her.
Okay.
Yeah, she's not naturalized.
She's
But
just doing
the beauty queen naturalized. So she is Japanese. But, just because she entered a beauty pageant, it brought all this up.
Yeah. Because it'll be interesting too, like with my 2-year-old, or 2.5-year-old. Actually, we're hitting 3 soon, I think. She does not really look Japanese. She might have maybe some hints of my wife, but poor girl looks like me more so. So, and it's funny when you see like
with more hair,
and sometimes like other Japanese people see it and they're like, cute little kid, hello, and she's like, I was born in Hiroshima, man. It's like,
I have a story about that. I went to a New Year party and your wife and your daughter were there.
Yeah,
you weren't there. I don't know why you weren't there. But
something to do with Betamax tapes.
Probably.
Yeah, shipment.
But, she's 2.5. She's running around. She's giggling. She's laughing.
Yeah.
And your wife goes to the bathroom. She goes, can you just watch her for a sec? I was like, yeah. And so, I'm kind of like playing with her and hanging out with her. And everybody comes up to me like, oh, your daughter's so cute. I'm like, she's not mine. She's not mine. And you could sort of see it. And I was sitting next to my boyfriend as well. So they were like automatically assuming like this is our daughter. And I'm like,
okay, yeah.
Just because she looks foreign doesn't mean she's mine. I mean, I love her to death, but she's not mine.
I was going to say, she's not a bad pick, but
Yeah, like of all the kids to get, she's probably one of the better ones to kidnap, but she's not mine. Yeah. So
I didn't need that. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, it was really, because I had people there who knew me and also knew my boyfriend, and they were kind of looking over like, when did that happen? And I'm like, it didn't.
That was quick.
I was just growing at an incredible rate. Like,
we'll do like Angelina Jolie and Madonna. Can you just buy a kid?
Yeah. So it was really interesting to see the reaction. So I really am like interested to see how, as she grows up, how does she identify?
Because she barely speaks any English as is now. She can understand.
She can say my name though.
Yeah, actually, yeah. When she sees the podcast or when I'm doing the editing, she'll around. Oh, Tata, Rachel.
And with that great pronunciation, she goes, it's Rachel. And I'm like, oh, she can say my name really well. Yeah. So that's our beauty queen news. And moving on.
What else is in the news?
Well, recently in local news.
Ooh, local news.
There was an earthquake in Hiroshima.
Was only like was it 2 days ago?
It was on Monday. So
further than that. Okay.
A little bit further back than that. It was Monday, February 26th. February 26th. And the reason I remember that date so well is because I had to be on live TV that day.
Ah, that's right.
And so when the earthquake struck, it was 20 minutes before live TV, which means that when an earthquake happens, especially, and it wasn't a big one, it was near ɨḥime. ɨḥime is where the center, the epicenter was.
Yeah.
And Hiroshima, so Naka Ward where we live
Mhm.
it was like a shindo 3, so a seismic intensity of 3, which is it's a good shake. It's not a huge shake,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's enough that where you're sitting down, you feel it.
hmm
It
It
was
faded in for me. Like
yeah,
I was in,
yeah,
actually, I was right here.
where it happened.
Yeah. And it was kind of like feeling the shake.
hmm
And then it hit bang.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, and there was a lot of things moving. I felt like, actually, I got a good analogy. I like my movie analogies.
hmm
This one's for the nerds. You know, when then the Millennium Falcon and the tractor beam hits them and they're getting dragged into the Death Star.
Yes.
And then they're like, actually, hang on. I think I've got a good soundbite for that one too. Yeah. Anyway, that's what it felt like. Man, it was like, oh, we're getting dragged in, people.
it was this because at first I thought, am I just dizzy?
Mm.
Or is this actually happening? So I was sitting in the back room talking to like the other people in there, and it was kind of like a wee wibble wobble,
Mhm.
and I was like, maybe I'm just like, is that me or is that everyone? And then it hit like the wobble,
Yeah.
and I remember watching the coffee in the coffee pot kind of slosh.
Yeah. That,
My boyfriend is calling me.
okay.
Should we put him on the air?
Oh, why not?
Hold on. Oh, he just hung up. Damn.
Ah.
Anyway, so
Mm.
anyway, I was watching the coffee slosh
Mhm.
in the coffee thing, and everybody was like, "That was an earthquake, right? That was an earthquake." I was like, "Yeah, that was an earthquake." So I go to my go-to app is the Nirifu, the Nerve app, NERV,
As in,
as in Evangelion.
Ooh.
Nirifu.
Mm.
So they have this disaster prevention or disaster preparedness organization that uses the name Nirifu, and they have this amazing disaster prevention app. And this isn't sponsored, but if they would like to sponsor us, I would plug the shit out of them
Oh, yeah.
because it's so well done. They have it in Japanese and in English, and like good English,
Mhm.
which is rare.
Yeah.
Right. So I go to the app and I look at like where the epicenter was, how much like the shaky shake was.
Mhm.
And as I'm doing this, I'm pretty sure the entire newsroom for this TV show was scrambling because 20 minutes till we go on the air, we have to talk about the earthquake. But nobody has
Yeah,
anything
right?
prepared because it just happened, right?
Mm.
Obviously. So they're scrambling to get news footage from weather cameras.
Mhm.
They are scrambling to get information about, okay, what seismic intensity hit what places in Hiroshima.
So it's like all hands on deck, right?
All hands on deck.
Mhm.
Okay. So this means that the entire TV show, which is like an afternoon news TV show, the whole schedule has to be pushed around and changed.
Yeah.
So basically they're like, all right, look, here's what we're going to do. We're all going to be sitting behind the desk. We're not going to do the opening.
Mhm.
First news is obviously the earthquake. We don't have a script. And so what they did is they gave the announcer, the main announcer guy, they gave him a piece of paper that was essentially like a printout of like anything that you could find on the internet about this earthquake. So like
Yep.
the epicenter and which places were shaking how much. So like a list of basically like names of places.
Especially when it's like so close to the event, right?
Right.
You don't have that much. How do you stretch out for like?
So that's what I was wondering because there's no script. It's
Yeah.
just here's your piece of paper, go.
Mm.
And I was like, how is he gonna, like? He's a seasoned professional, obviously. Aoyama, his name is Aoyama. And he was like, all right. He was just like cool, calm, composed. He said, look, the first news of the day is the earthquake, and we're gonna go to some live footage. And so behind the scenes, as he's reading the names and like how much places were shaking,
Yep.
the like assistant director and like the assistant producer would be holding a piece of paper like, hey, next we're going to be showing Kure Port, next we're going to be showing this place, next we're going to be showing that place.
Yeah.
And he would be introducing that as he's going
Mhm.
and just have to stretch this for like, it was like 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
Where he literally has just this one piece of paper in front of him and all this different footage in front of him, and he has to like just stretch and keep talking.
So what happened with you though? You're like, well,
So here's the thing: the announcer, the main announcer, there's 3 people on the show. There's me, the commentator. Hello, commentator. And then there's the main announcer, who's Aoyama-san.
not me. No.
And then there's Tamura-san, which is she's sort of like the sub announcer. Sub announcer. Yeah. So when the earthquake happened, Aoyama-san was getting changed.
Hmm.
And he apparently didn't feel the earthquake at all, which is crazy because it was a pretty big shake.
I felt it. My anus went. Anyway.
And so he didn't feel it at all.
Mm.
And so he was like, all right, because I didn't really feel the earthquake, I'm going to throw comments to Tamura-san and to you, Rachel. And I was like, all right. So we go through the footage, looking at the weather footage, the camera does the shaky, shake, shake, shake.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, at the moment of the earthquake, because Naka Ward was seismic intensity 3, which is pretty big. And he was like, well, what was going on, Tamara-san? And she was like, oh yeah, I really felt it in the break room, and right, Rachel, you felt the same thing too, right? And I was like, yeah, I was watching the coffee pot and the coffee was sloshing. So that was kind of my role in the whole thing.
No one crossed to me. Sorry.
Well, if you were there.
Oh, fair enough. Okay.
If you were there.
Yeah.
So essentially, it was just like this very bizarre, but also very almost like an educational experience for me of like
that would have been pretty cool to see.
What happens on live news when an earthquake hits? And my answer to that is announcers are professional AF.
Yeah.
Like amazing, incredible job by everybody.
Yeah.
The background team that was able to get together all the footage.
Yep.
That was able to put it together so quickly. I was really impressed.
That's pretty cool.
Yes, it was really interesting. And there were no casualties, no damages in Hiroshima, which, it's always good news. We don't really get earthquakes very often, right?
Right.
I think I can remember maybe including this recent one, 2, 3, maybe like 3 or 4 since I've been here in like 17 years.
Yeah.
That were like pretty that was an earthquake.
I remember it was like when I moved here, it was just literally a few days after, like it was quite a big one. And like where we were living too, it's like quite a few floors up. So and it was long, like it was my first earthquake. But then even like friends were saying that was longer than usual, and I'm like, yeah, great, that's the first one I get. But
yeah, long earthquakes earthquakes are scary. They're really scary. Let's be honest. I don't think you can get used to an earthquake. I think it's scary every time because you don't know when it could happen 2 seconds from now. We don't know.
Second one we hit was not long after I got new TV as well.
Oh no!
So it was like shaking. I was just standing holding it.
I love how that is such a like a thing here, because whenever you see footage from like when an earthquake happens, there's always somebody hugging the TV because they don't want it to fall. And I'm like, I get it, man.
Yeah, because I've seen a lot of footage when it's like like office things, there's monitors falling down and that.
Chairs
and
just rolling across the floor. Yeah.
I like my TV, man.
So, if anything, it's a really good reminder to, if you live in Japan, if you're going to be staying in Japan for an extended period of time, be sure you have your evacuation kit. Get your stuff in line.
Yep.
No one's going to do it for you.
Which I think coming up, we might actually hit into that a bit
we
more.
Have
right?
to.
We have to.
Disaster preparedness is one of my favorite topics.
All right. We're going to get into that one.
Yeah.
All right. And if you do come, look after your TV.
Yeah, look after your TV. Look after your valuables.
Things shake.
Yeah, they really do. They really do be shaking.
What else we got for news?
Well, I believe we have another local news tidbit.
A news tidbit also from Hiroshima. Okay. Would you pay $31,000 US for a watch?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, it's a broken watch as well.
No.
It's right twice a day.
No.
Right? So anyway, recently at an auction house in the States, a watch from Hiroshima, melted one.
Like from the bombing?
From the bombing.
So an artifact.
Paused at, 8:15.
Yeah.
Melted. You can still see the hands. Actually, I've got a picture there. I'll pop it up on the screen.
Oh, I was wondering what that was.
Yeah, it was auctioned off. So
why did they? I'm sorry. Keep going.
Yeah, no. It's all good. So, the person that actually got their hands on it was here just after the bombing. It was a British soldier, and he came pretty much for, to assess damage for reconstruction
like rescue
and that
efforts?
needed. So, found himself a watch, and he's been holding on to it, and he decided, and put it up for auction.
I can't believe he didn't contact the Peace Memorial Museum in Hiroshima and donate it to them.
Yep.
I can't believe that. has not disclosed the buyer.
Non-disclosed buyer. Also, what do we got? Yeah, these
Wow.
guys weren't too happy about it.
Oh, so the International Campaign to Abolish Nuclear Weapons, also known as ICAN, also known as winners of a Nobel Peace Prize, go them, has expressed opposition to the sale of the item, sending a letter demanding its listing be taken down over concerns that individuals could profit from an artifact that carries historical lessons. I agree.
Already happened, and it was gone and sold. So
that is so.
Sold on Thursday.
God, that is such a white man thing to do. I'm sorry. That is such a white man thing to do.
Well, I ain't selling watches, man. Just Betamax tapes.
Betamax.
They're all brand new and sealed.
That is insane. I did not know about this.
I just came across and I thought, might just pop that in. But yeah.
Wow.
No, more of a definitely more of a museum piece. But I'll put the picture of the watch up there.
That is such a valuable artifact that should be in the museum.
Yeah, definitely.
I can't. Capitalism, people. Capitalism. That's truly, truly frustrating.
You got $31,000 to spend on a watch. Anyway.
Yeah, although I feel like it should have gone for more.
I would have
given
thought so.
There are only 2 places on Earth that have experienced an atomic bomb and war, right? Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Which means that there's a limited number of artifacts. I think it could have gone for more.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I think like 31,000 is kind of insulting. I hope whoever bought it, if you are watching and you bought this watch, I think you need to contact the Peace Memorial Museum and you need to make sure they have it on display. Donate it. Please donate. Do the right thing. You know, what are you going to do with that watch anyway?
Like I said, it's right twice a day.
It is right twice a day.
Yeah.
But I think you should.
No, but what are you going
to do with it?
It's a little bit like I know there's some cool artifacts and things to have, but it's kind of like, this is from, the bombing and that. It's a bit like...
I think it's tacky to have that, you know what I mean?
Between you and me, that says a lot about the person that bought it. So
yeah, judging you.
But last on the news, we'll end off with
final news segment
final news. Not that we're going to get any happier, but sorry about this. But a lot of people know this shop. Do you know Daiso?
Yes, I do know Daiso. Daiso is the wonderful 100 yen shop.
I don't think there is one person that's lived or even traveled in Japan that hasn't bought something from Daiso.
Daiso is also a global scale.
Yeah, there's more than one of those shops.
Franchises all over the world.
All over. Yeah, I know there's, in Australia as well.
They're really great.
So they're pretty much what your Japanese $1 shop, right?
Yeah.
You can get all your knickknacks and whatnots and what's another word?
I've got who's it's and what's it's and whatever galore.
We'll go with that.
Yeah.
Anyway, the news is the founder of Daiso passed away.
Oh.
I'll put that somewhere here. So, passed away at the age of 80 on February the 12th. His name is Hirotake Yano. And so, 80 years old.
80 years old. That's a pretty good life, though.
Yeah.
80 years old. And with all he's accomplished, with a massively successful franchise of shops that, let's be honest, if I went there every day, I would probably find something that I needed.
I shop there a lot, yeah.
Because you can get like paper towels, plastic bags, sponges to like wash your dishes, like anything. And it's pretty like storage unit things, little like baskets and all that.
No, they've got everything
all
there.
My Tupperware is from Daiso.
So Daiso would be like, so he started, that's one hell of a legacy.
That is an incredible legacy.
I think it was so he actually took his wife's name, Yano. I was reading that apparently he took his wife's name because it was better for business, he felt.
Interesting.
Wait, so actually, tell me if I'm wrong. Well, somebody told me if I'm wrong, but I had here that he was born as Kuro?
I don't know. Is that an O?
Kurokori.
Is that an O or a U?
Yeah, it's Kuro. Yeah. So, it's like he totally changed his name. He was apparently born in China.
Huh.
That's what the words on the interwebs said.
Well, he's 80 years old, so that was when he was born. It was one of those periods of Japanese colonialism and having colonies in China and Korea. So that stands to reason, to be honest.
So at 80 years old, they had a private funeral. So, they started Daiso in, I think it was like 1977. Or it was in the 70s, just after his father-in-law's business, which he was managing, went bankrupt. That didn't go well.
Nope.
Daiso went very well.
Yeah.
And it was only like maybe 6 years ago that he handed over the reins to his son.
Mm-hmm.
Then about a year later, he retired. So he had
Good on
a
him.
few years to kind of rest and live it up. But I guess he was like a lot of people here than just work.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, I have to say this is a huge loss. This is a huge loss to the international community, to the Daiso community. But I really hope that his son carries on this legacy of wonderful products and like snacks as well and drinks, and you can buy most anything at a Daiso, to be honest. Like plates, bowls,
Lots of stuff.
lots of stuff.
Mm.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Yano.
Rest in peace. But don't think Daiso's going anywhere for a long time. Yeah.
I would be very surprised. Like, you would really have to take a drastic, like, turn in policy. Like, everything's going to be like 1,000 yen, not 100 yen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So, not a happy ending for the pod, but the legacy carries on.
Legacy carries on. So, this was our first news episode. Oh, wait. I got to do my news ending. Are you ready?
Yep.
以上、ニュースでした。So, if you enjoyed this like local news, Japanese news,
hit the mic.
if you enjoyed this episode with local news and Japanese news, let us know in the comments. You can send us an email at thewaitingroomjpn@gmail.com
or Instagram at thewaitingroomjpn.
Be sure to like, follow, subscribe, and we will see you next time on The Waiting Room.
Yeah, take it easy, guys.
Bye.
Yeah.